In the spring of 1918, as World War I consumed Europe, something began unfolding in military camps far from the front lines. Healthy young soldiers reported for duty in the morning and were dead by the next day. Entire sections of barracks fell silent overnight. Whatever was killing these men left no wounds doctors recognized and no pattern they understood. At first, it was dismissed, then minimized, then quietly endured. No one yet knew how bad it was going to get. Doctors moved from bunk to bunk, unsure what they were seeing. Influenza was familiar, predictable. It killed the old, the weak, the already sick. This was different. Young, physically fit men collapsed faster than the wounded recovering from combat. Somewhere in a military hospital, a young army doctor wrote home. He said he had never seen men die this quickly. He did not say that he was afraid. Doctors were not supposed to be afraid. The illness did not stay contained. It moved as people moved, from camp to camp by rail, from continent to continent by ship. Every train carried troops and something else. Every barracks became an incubator. Doctors called it influenza. They believed it would pass. For a moment, it seemed they were right. By early summer, case counts declined. Newspapers reported improvement. Restrictions loosened. Soldiers returned to duty. Masks came off. Victory, both in war and disease, felt close. That was when the virus changed. In September of 1918, the second wave arrived without warning. Military hospitals were overwhelmed almost immediately. Corridors filled with young men gasping for breath. Faces turned blue, blood stained bedsheets. Some patients deteriorated so quickly they were dead within hours of arrival. Doctors noticed something that made no sense. The stronger the patient, the faster the collapse. They tried everything they had: quinine, aspirin, bleeding, alcohol. Nothing worked. On September 28, 1918, Philadelphia held a massive parade to support the war effort. Hundreds of thousands packed the streets. Health officials warned that the city was already seeing cases. They urged cancellation. Officials did not say they were unsure. They said they were certain. There was no cause for alarm. Within 72 hours, every hospital bed was full. Within a week, thousands were dead. Within 6 weeks, more than 12,000 people had died. Coffins ran out. Bodies lay in homes for days because no one was left to collect them. One parade, one decision, thousands of lives. The virus followed the routes humans built for war. Across the Atlantic, on troop ships. Into European cities already weakened by years of fighting. Into island communities with no immunity and no defenses. In Western Samoa, a single ship docked without quarantine. Within weeks, more than 1/5 of the population was dead. Nearby, American Samoa closed its ports completely. 0 deaths. Same ocean, same virus, different decisions. In remote villages of Alaska, the disease arrived late but struck fast. Entire communities collapsed within days. Survivors were often too few to bury the dead before the ground froze. By its end, the 1918 influenza pandemic had killed between 50 and 100 million people, more than the First World War. The numbers are almost impossible to comprehend, which may be why they are so easy to forget. The war produced monuments, poetry, memorials in town squares, The pandemic produced almost none. There were no victory parades for survival, no heroic narratives, only grief. Too vast, too fast, too ordinary. The world moved on. The 1918 pandemic was not a failure of medicine. Doctors lacked the tools to stop it. It was a failure of judgment, of communication, of leadership under uncertainty. The virus did not care about borders, politics, or confidence. It moved through every weakness human behavior allowed. And it will happen again. Not the same virus, not the same circumstances, but the same choices. The people of 1918 were confident too, educated, connected, certain the worst plagues were behind them. The virus did not prove them wrong. Time did. The question isn't whether it will happen again, it's whether we'll recognize it before the bodies force us to.